Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for our second video of the year. I'm with John Top Gun Fitzgerald and I'm Matthew the Truck Grace. We're here to help you preview the teams this week and any surprises. There are a couple, and any help with any trades that we recommend this week, and guys who should get the chop that are just probably maxing out Fitzy. So we'll get straight into it.
What about our new sponsor?
Arnott's.
We've welcomed Arnott's on board. They've provided us
You haven't even got the packaging to show.
I've bought two for $5 at Coles, but they're on board as a sponsor this year.
So Coles is also a sponsor, obviously.
Coles has just signed up as well. So, and they've also provided me with the beanie of knowledge. So I'm sporting that tonight, and because it's bloody cold.
Soft. But anyway, we'll move on to my boys Geelong playing up against the Collingwood Magpies. On another note, Fitz, before we get into that, I just want to say Eddie Maguire is a dickhead.
He's not a sponsor of our show anyway.
For a couple of people that have mentioned we say went a bit pooey, I'm just going to go straight out and say dickhead, that Eddie Maguire is the biggest dickhead in the AFL at the moment.
Explain.
Well, just what he said about this taking money from rich clubs and giving it to the teams that are struggling. I think, wouldn't you rather have those teams getting money, and still being in the competition, than going back to a 12-team competition? So, absolutely. It's hard for teams up in like Brisbane and Gold Coast. Like NRL's the main sport up that way. So and soccer's pretty big as well. So I don't know, Eddie, just pull your head in.
I'm 100% behind you on that, Gracie, because being a North Melbourne supporter, there was that period where we dropped the North Melbourne name. They didn't have a home. They were going to go to the Gold Coast. Then Brayshaw came along, kept us in North Melbourne. It was the happiest moment of my life. So I'm agreeing with him that one. He's the biggest dickhead around. But let's get into these teams.
You can read the teams.
I'm not going to read all the teams. Like, I'm the coach. I'll read from the half-back line. But nothing really exciting. Seedsman's out for Collingwood. And no one interesting to come in.
That's good for Oxley.
Good for Oxley. He's been named on the wing too. Wow. So, but for Geelong, Mitch Clark's back in after 1 week off with a foot injury. Thankfully, he's break-even's still in the negatives, I'm pretty sure. So he's going to make more money. And Cockatoo came in for anyone who's hung on to him. And sadly, Gracie, James Kelly is out.
It doesn't say split testicle.
It doesn't say. It says he's out with a groin. So,
but another good in Fitzy is Josh Cowan playing his first game since I think it was like round 18, 2011. So it's been a few years. So
been a little while.
Hopefully he goes all right.
Let's hope Geelong's on the ball for this game. Hey, sorry.
I can hear the laughter.
The early game Saturday is the mighty North Melbourne up against Richmond down in, where is it? Hobart?
Oh, shattered. Aaron Black got omitted.
Aaron Black got omitted, so I'm going to have to trade him out of my team, sadly. No surprises there. Hanson, Waite, McDonald come into very strong ins for North Melbourne.
Now, does Hanson affect Robbie Tarrant?
No, he won't. Hanson will play sort of starting in a back pocket, being the loose man in defence, pushing up the field. So I think Tarrant's still that stay-at-home fullback, intercept mark sort of player, but in some ways, Hanson might actually help him out because I'll have a bit more of a balanced back line now. So I'm excited for that inclusion. For the Tigers, Brutolidio is finally back in after... What do you have, old man calf or something?
I wouldn't be surprised if he missed... if he was a late withdrawal, though. Would not be surprised.
We'll find out if the emergencies are travelling this weekend. Dylan Grimes is in.
Oh, it's in Tasmania, isn't it?
Yeah, Dylan Grimes is in.
Who's that?
I don't know. Some bloke. And
Corey Ellis.
Corey Ellis is being dropped.
No, he's injured.
He's got a leg. He's got...
Well, you'd hope he's to have 2 legs, but anyway.
He's got 2 legs.
Anyway, on to the next game, Fitzy. The Doggies and Saints.
Boring.
Brett Goods is back.
Brett Goods is in.
If you've got him... Actually, I'm playing a couple of people that have Brett Goods, so they'll be happy.
My mum's still got him.
But the big news is Montagna and Rewald are back for the Saints. Does that even up the ledger with Boyd out?
Maybe. I mean, Boyd's just picked up defender eligibility in AFL Fantasy, Gracie, so you'd be pretty sad if
What's to go with the milestones there? Daniel McKenzie played first game. That was
week, wasn't it? Can someone confirm? I think the AFL site shows the milestones from the week before. I reckon I picked that up as well. But anyway, Akers and Membry are out for the Saints, but Loney obviously still named. So
he shouldn't be the sub either. He should have another good price rise. Because the Doggies, I reckon he'll do quite well against the Doggies. So
I'm going to sit him on the field.
And for people that were, it's probably mainly Dream Team because Boyd's now got the mid-defender link. But a lot of people were thinking about Matthew Boyd this week. So Probably just he's got that bit of old man disease with a bit of soreness.
He's had the old man calf for about 3 years now, so you wouldn't be trading him in. I think unless you had him in draft league, but otherwise I wouldn't be too worried. The Giants up against the Hawthorn this week, mate. They could have another big week ahead of them after last week getting smashed by the Eagles, but
not necessarily. I mean, Lewis and Hodge are two pretty big outs.
They are. Puopolo finally comes in, and Anderson.
Jed Anderson, I traded him out last week.
Yeah, well,
he's not going to make much money.
Now, if you had Lewis or Hodge, what would you be doing with them?
Hodge, I'd be trading because 3 weeks is too long, and Lewis, I'd be keeping because you've got Vandenberg. I mean, Alice Yeoman's obviously out this week. But yeah, you got Vandenberg, Heaney's back, obviously, which we'll get to shortly. You've still got Cracker. You got Glenn, who people have brought him in already. There's plenty of cover there for Lewis. But Hodge, it's a bit hard unless you've got like myself. Like I've got Sard on the bench. So if I had him, I probably could have been able to cover him. But most people probably only have Nathan Brown on their bench. Yeah, maybe Oxley, but. If you've got Oxley, that's a perfect replacement. Keep him there because when you think of it, when he comes back, you've got a extra premium than everyone else because a lot of people will trade him out this week. So
no, that's fair. But I think I tend to agree. I've got Lewis, so I'm just going to sit him on the bench for 2 weeks. Not much point trading him.
No.
Hodge, I'd probably be inclined to trade him depending on your backline structure. If you can put someone like Sard in, then I'd go down that path. But otherwise, you're probably going to have to look to trade. And I mean, look, he's 530k. So if you traded him down to a Simpson or a Brodie Smith, you're almost going to make 100k out of it and still get a keeper. So I'd be inclined to be going in that path. I wouldn't be trading in Hooley at his price. He's too expensive. No. But perhaps, I mean, even Jasper Pittard, he's still only 450k. So I'd be looking at one of those three.
Definitely.
To trade him out.
Definitely.
But what about Gracie? What about Ryan Griffin? What's your verdict on him? No. He's had another spud week last week.
Should have never have picked him.
No, I tend to agree. But do you hold, trade, pray, give up? What do you do?
I don't even know what his price is. I haven't even paid attention to him. No. But anyway, I don't think with a young midfield like they got with Ward leading the way with Shield and obviously Caniglio's in there. You got Lockie Whitfield and those sort of guys running around. Like it's pretty hard for a bloke that's 30 something years old to come in and have an impact. He's I don't know if he's getting the tag or not, or
shit, he's poo.
Yeah,
he's playing poo.
I think he's just might be being a bit lazy because he's got a big contract at GWS. He's just sort of plodding along, sort of.
Probably not getting the number of rotations because you remember when he had a couple of big seasons a few years ago, he'd be getting like 40 touches in a game. I just don't think at the GWS he'd be getting enough midfield rotations to get those sort of numbers. Like if he plays up forward, he doesn't kick goals. So unless he gets 40 touches, his scoring potential is probably not there. So I'd be looking to jump off this week. And there's a few guys that are cheap now, so I'd be looking to get on one of them.
This is where we need to insert the drunk rule. The Gold Coast drunk sons.
the Gold Coast rums.
This has just gone from average to bad to worse to absolutely embarrassing.
Poo. We have to say poo.
Beyond poo-ness.
Matt Grace, poo. Look at these outs. We've got Seb Tate with a knee. Benell's on the piss. Jack Martin's got an ankle. Steve May got suspended.
I hope Martin had 2 ankles, but anyway.
I know. Trent McKenzie got omitted. Was he on the piss too? I don't know.
Yes, he was. Him and Matera was another. And Stanley's obviously just been an out. Like, he's not in the team, but still he's another senior player. So I just want to point out that Stephen May last week with his suspension, a lot of people think that it's an absolute bollocks. I see the point why he got suspended. He went to hip and shoulder. Rocklift's where you are, and the ball's over there. Why would you go to the man? Like, I know you want to try and bump him off the ball, but the ball was almost more than 5 metres away. So.
I don't think that the bump was meant to get him high, though.
It wasn't.
It was a fair bump, but I think it was probably just the impact that sort of did him wrong. But
I suppose it's the issue of he decided to bump and not go the ball.
And I don't think that's how it should be, but I can see how, because Rockliff ended up getting subbed off and went to hospital to get checked for a broken jaw. But I mean, if his bump was 10 centimetres lower, it would have been a fair bump. But anyway, he's almost done us a favour because we can trade Rockliff in a few weeks.
Bloody oath, he will be cheap. That
He
will
will be
be
cheap.
that will almost be a video in itself.
It will, but so sadly for the Suns, the booze brigade is out this week.
Yeah.
I read somewhere online that they've only got 24 players to choose from this week. So if you're in the area and you've got a pair of footy boots, go along to training tomorrow night, have a snag, have a pie, and see if you get named, because there's a chance there might be a laid out for them. But
He might also be the captain.
you might even be the captain. I'm just going to hit the last one of these. But
For the Crows, big inclusion, Fitzy, Matt Crouch.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Mitch Grigg. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Crouch is in.
But the sad news is Alice Yeoman has a hamstring injury.
He does. 2 weeks. Hot off the press, that news. They said he's going to be out for 2 weeks. So I'm going to hold. He's 330k, break even of 20 something.
Yep.
I'd be inclined to keep him, especially when you've got Miller on the bench, like you mentioned Vandenberg before. We can trade Glenn in as a downgrade perhaps next week for someone else. I'd be inclined to keep Alice Yeoman, and he probably has another 2 weeks worth of cash generation. Unless you're in a real sticky situation, which I might find myself in with Lewis already out. But I think I can just put Miller on the bench, use some dual positions to get Cracker in there, and that'll be fine. So they're the sorts of trades you probably want to hang on to, I reckon, at this stage.
I suppose the good thing is with Douglas now being out for probably 4 to 6 weeks, that actually helps Yeoman for coming back in, because he's definitely cemented himself in the best 21. So
and Jake Lever comes in for his first game too. So
keep an eye out a couple of weeks, see how he goes. But it's all going to depend. He'll have to take his opportunity this week, because it's going to be pretty tough to break into that Adelaide team when they get a few players back.
Absolutely. And they've said Sloane's going to play too. So
yes, Sloane actually said that himself. So on 3AW.
No laid outs.
Let's hope not. Touch wood. Is that wood?
I think so. It's synthetic wood. But
Freo and Essendon. Wow, this is going to be an entertaining game.
Why?
Well, Freo. I won't say that word. But anyway, They'll beat them quite comfortably.
Yeah, McFarlane goes out. Calf soreness, probably rest. Alex Pearce comes in. Apparently he's new. I've never heard of him, but
he's a rookie.
He comes in for his first game. Have a look at him if he keeps his spot. Yep. So we'll talk about him in a week's time.
James Gwills, that's why Essendon are going to lose.
James Gwills coming in. Dustin Fletcher's had his birthday. He's on the piss. He's out with a groin, mate. It's been his birthday. What do you reckon's been going on down there?
The missus.
Yeah. And Kyle Langford's been dropped.
Well.
So I think it's going to be a hard game for Essendon over at Subiaco.
I cannot believe the outs for this game.
Wow.
Especially for Melbourne. Jack Grimes omitted. Mark Jamar omitted.
I've got Jamar.
That's huge.
And Viv Mitchie and Geordie McKenzie.
But I suppose
Billy Stretch comes in.
That's a good one.
Billy Stretch comes in.
What, about 130?
He's cheaper than that. He's 117.
117.
Yep, so he's a cheap rookie to keep an eye on.
And Melbourne Roos likes to play. If they play a good... I don't know, if they do a lot of positive things, Roos likes to keep his rookies in. So
that's right. I mean, like a guy like Ben Newton might get a rest in a few weeks, and he might be a good downgrade.
And some good news on the other side, Fitzy. Heaney's back.
Heaney's back in.
And the good thing is Cunningham got omitted for him, and so did Bird.
Ooh.
So
they rate him highly. The other interesting thing there is Tom Mitchell's named for his second game in a row. He got a nice ton the first week. I would be...
Goods will be sub.
Goods, you reckon?
Yep. Goods will be sub.
Goods, maybe Jake Lloyd, our boy.
No, I reckon Lloyd will play a full game. Goods will be sub. Because Goods, he's starting to struggle a bit running out full games. So I wouldn't be surprised if they bring him on for a quarter and a half, see what he can do. Because he's almost on the outer. So if he has a couple of bad games, you might see Cunningham come straight back into that side. Because I don't know if people's read the articles, but they reckon Goods may have gone a year too long.
I would sadly almost agree with that, I think. So, and it's not fair to put Longmire in an awkward spot where Goods is like, no, if you're going to make me sub, I'll go play in the second. Like, that's a bit unfair. But anyway, like I said, so keep an eye on a guy like Mitchell too, because he's very cheap in the forward line. So if he has a good game this week, albeit against Melbourne, he might be worth a look. And Jesse Hogan's one, Gracie. He's probably got. I reckon he's got one more week, maybe 2 more weeks left.
He is playing on Grundy this week, which will be tough.
That's right. He did all right against Rance a couple of weeks ago. Last week, no, as well.
He was
against
playing
McFarlane,
on McFarlane,
and McFarlane's obviously done an injury because of it, so he must have been pretty good. But he could do all right against the Swannies.
If he gets 80 or above, I'd keep him for an extra week because his break even won't rise too much. And he'll still have probably an extra 10 or 15k, which can make a difference, as I have found out this week.
Yes, a few k short of getting the players you want in. But he does have that 118 still in that 3-week average, so after this week, that's going to drop out. So See how he goes this week. Look at his break-even next week. At this stage, I'll probably trade him out, but we'll just wait and see. But you think Billy Stretch might be worth looking a couple of weeks' time.
Gosh, we've got... what? Is that Dale Thomas?
Yeah, Dale Thomas
Holy
is back
crap.
in. God, he must be keen. I thought he was going to miss 2 months. Probably has been 2 months. What are we now, around 6?
It's almost. It's been 5 weeks.
He's been about due to come back in. So Thomas comes in. There's still extended benches at the moment, but you'd imagine he'd be playing.
Henderson's a big out.
Henderson
I've tipped Carlton, but that could change with Henderson out.
Well, interestingly, nothing overly exciting.
Leuenberger's in.
Leuenberger has come in, Gracie. So anyone that was considering Stefan Martin, we did discuss this earlier in the week, might want to perhaps think twice. Not that Stefan Martin is a bad choice, but with Leuenberger and the team, he seems to score lower. Whether he stays in, I mean, he's brought Aish in as well, who they swung the axe and dropped those guys.
Well, he's been dropped twice now this year.
He has. So I
don't know what's going on. Like he must. Yeah, I don't think he's got the wake up call yet, but he also could be already thinking about going to a new club next year.
Maybe, or maybe he has got the wake up call and he's given a chance. So. Hopefully he makes the right decision.
And our boy Paddy Cripps, named in the middle,
Cripps
in the guts,
in the middle, right in those guts. So he's probably. I still think he's gone next week or the following week. I think you've just got to time him right when he finally peaks.
Although if he pulls out another ton this week...
If he gets another ton, but if he scores 85 from now to the rest of the season, his price is going to stay at 420k.
Do you know what would be funny? If he gets 2 tons in a row, he's probably going to be more than Rockcliffe, so he'll make money off the Rockcliffe trade.
That's right. Was Rockcliffe named?
Yeah, he is.
He is, actually. Well, there you go. He's named on the wing, so...
He'll play.
Perfect.
He has said in an interview as well that he said he should be right for this week. So.
That's right. So the good thing is he got knocked out in the first 5 minutes or something. True, so he had a long time to recover. Yep.
So
we'll put this. I think after this week he's going to be at 500k. But if he drops to let's just say around there, but he hasn't quite shown his scoring potential, do you jump on and hope that he comes good, or do you miss him?
Come later in the year, even if he's only averaging 105, he could be on your bench. Tom Rockcliffe on your bench as a backup come finals. Like towards the end of last year, I think he did pretty well. So
he did well all last year.
Yeah, well, that's true. So I got no doubt that Rockcliffe will get back.
Okay,
no doubt at all.
Yep, I think I'll be doing the same thing. But I guess it's a bit like every year where there's a player like that, but everyone's going to have him. So it's almost like you should jump on just because everyone's got him.
Yep.
He's going to be a cheap upgrade. I mean, if he shows even a glimmer of hope that he's going to get up to his 120 or 130 average, just jump on anyway. I think
this week will be the week he'll pull out about 110, 120 games.
I wouldn't be surprised. He'll be itching to get out there and have a big game because he's obviously had a bit of a stop-start to the year. So, and the last game of the round, Gracie, Port Adelaide West Coast.
Yes, and good news for Cracker is Polek's been put on the long-term injury list.
So we had a chat about that.
We did. So Cracker will be safe for at least another 8 weeks.
That's right, because what's his name? Brendan or Billy Frumpton.
Yeah.
He's due to come back onto the senior list in the next week or so, depending on if he's right to go. But so there's a bit of whispers, or a couple of whispers around that he maybe Crack will go back to the rookie list, but Pollock's been put on the long-term injury, so he'll be right to go. As long as he gets picked, of course. But he's named on the extended bench, but he should be right. And Jackson Nelson's come back in for West Coast. I've got him, but otherwise there's...
How many games has he played now?
He missed last week due to getting rested, but he's played all the others, so he's already gone up one price, right? Yep. So he's been pretty handy on the bench. But
I've got an interesting couple of questions about Port Adelaide for you, Fitzy.
Okay, sure.
Chad Wingard is currently about 430,000. Last week in the showdown, he played very well, and I know that his scores are very heavily affected. I know a couple of years ago with kicking crucial goals. But at 430k, if you're looking at upgrading Hogan next week, would you bring Chad Wingard in?
I personally probably wouldn't. I think, like saying, he relies on getting his scores through kicking game-winning goals, which Champion Data have said they're going to cut those points back. Even so, like that year that Chad Wingard was All-Australian, he only averaged, I think, 97 or maybe 98. This year we've got like Swan, Gray, Martin, Goddard, I'm going to get on Bont, Dalhouse, Buddy. All these guys are going to average 100 plus. I mean, Wingard hasn't shown to me yet this year that he's going to increase on that average from a couple of years ago. He doesn't get quite as much midfield time as you'd think he would. I think he's probably not going to get past that 100 average. It would be interesting maybe, like you're saying, is like maybe a bench option. I'm not sure if he's still a mid eligible, but he'd be interesting in that role. But otherwise, at this stage, I'll be looking at getting the guns in, so I'd probably pass on him.
Still got 2 more questions about this
All
guy.
right, go.
So, Pittard, if he pulls out another 100 this week, is he a definite?
He's a top 10 defender if he gets 100 this week for me. I had a good look at him last week.
Low score of 97, I think it is.
No, 67 he got in round 1.
Oh, did he?
And then he followed up the following week, got 34 touches, had a career best game. So I think he's shown enough to warrant at least top 10. I mean, he'll definitely be, say, top 15, but the way he was distributing the ball last week was great, and they looked for him.
Ping,
he
with
does.
his left foot, he's got a very, very good
He's
kick.
a great kick, and they looked for him every time they brought it out of defence. So, I mean, the thing you got to keep in mind is the last few years he's been the Port Adelaide supporters' whipping boy. You know, he's been the guy they've always blamed because his kicking was really bad and just couldn't find his spot. But now it looks like he's settled in there. He's got good scores against good teams. He got that 30 touches against Sydney, I'm pretty sure, 130 Supercoach points he got. So, tentatively, yes, I say jump on him. He's only 450k still, and I'll admit I've still considered trading Malcheski to him, but I'm going to hold for now. But I think Pittard could be a good one to jump on this week before he goes up. But, depends if you need to upgrade. Because my rule was, of course, no trades in the back line till the buys. No upgrades in the back line, should I say.
We already had a couple of good comments about that. So.
Yeah, good, because I think it's just too hard to tell at the moment. I would not be going Lumumba, Nunes, or any of those guys to him. I'd be holding on to them.
I suppose the thing is, those guys are still playing.
They're going to play 22 games.
St Kilda are playing Bulldogs this week,
right.
so there's every chance that Nunes could go off the chain and pump out a 130 and be laughing.
That's right. And even a guy like McIntosh, if he gets another 90 or so, he's going to keep making money, so I wouldn't even be trading him out yet. So I wouldn't be upgrading or sideways trading the back line, but
sideways trading you should never do.
No.
Unless it's a long-term injury.
That's right. That's the only case you do it. If they're underperforming, you leave that till the end of the year, because you always have those trades that you wish you could do at the end of the year. I'd rather have a spud in the back line than an injured player in the midfield and a donut. So Pittard is a big yes for me. I really like him.
Fraser McInnes, his 3rd game this week. Fitzy's named at centre-half forward there for West Coast. He scored 20 last week, that was all, and they had a big win. But the week before, I think he scored 80 or something like that. So averaging about 50. He's got a negative break-even about minus 30 odd or minus 20 or something like that, I did see. So he will jump about probably 30 or 40k. I suppose he's going to have to pull out a big game. If you do get him this week, he's going to have to pull out a relatively big game. So do you think he should be one that we should consider?
Possibly. I think a lot of people have last week did trades to get Robbie Tarrant and Cracker, so a lot of people have probably already done downgrades in the I'm guessing he's a forward, is he?
I'm pretty sure he's a forward. He might even be a forward mid. I'm not sure.
Let's assume that he's a forward then. But I think a lot of people probably have already done downgrades that probably don't really need him. But I mean, look, it depends. If Josh Kennedy has that season-ending surgery, I see he's been named, then I think jump on him.
That's got me shocked.
I don't know how he's still playing, but
I was shattered because I'm playing someone with Josh Kennedy, and knowing my luck, he'll come out and kick 10 this week. So
there's a very good chance that they might sort of groom McInnes to sort of fill that role if Kennedy does miss the rest of the season. So I'd probably pass on him. I think there's a few guys that will be on the bubble soon that are better than him. Like I said, a lot of people probably don't need to downgrade the forward line anyway. But look, I mean, if you're really desperate, maybe. I'm not sure if Dan McKenzie from St Kilda. No, he's a defender, isn't he?
Yeah.
So probably I'd probably pass on him. But if you're really desperate, I mean, you could always take a flutter, and if he gets dropped, well, you just got a floating donut then. So
definitely.
Oh, good.
Moving on to our trades this week, Fitzy, what are you doing now that you've seen the team?
Yeah, well, I think my trades will stay the same. I was sort of preparing myself for an ordinary week, I think, because I don't have Lewis. Alice Yeoman's now not playing, and Malcheski's still on my bench. My plan was always to go Salem to Goddard. That gives me 4 premium forwards. I'm still considering Buddy and Dalhouse and a few of these guys. So I think Goddard's he's at the bottom. He's going to peak back up again. So at this stage, I'll probably just do that one trade, I reckon. I'm trying to just hold on to a few trades, don't react too much. And like I said, I'm not too badly ranked overall, so I could probably put up with a not great week. But, I mean, like last week, I had a few players out and still managed to get a good score. So we'll see how we go. But for me, that's just the one trade.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
Well, I've got the war chest at the moment, about nearly $500,000. So this week's going to be Van Berlo out for... At this stage, it'll be Dylan Shield and Salem out for Robbie Gray.
Good,
so
solid.
a couple of big ends. I was going to do Kennedy and Shield in to the midfield, which would have given me 6 premiums in the midfield, but I think I just need that extra one up forward,
Yep.
so I don't have to play
Yep.
Hogan, Clark, and
That's it.
Tarrant. So that'll give me a chance to pick.
Yep.
We'll put one of them on the bench this week. So
I think that's a good point, Gracie, because I think you had a similar forward-line structure to me with 3 premiums and 3 rookies.
I had 2 premiums and Bond.
And Bond, yeah, there you go. So he's a premium. So
he is now. So
a lot of people started with that structure. So that's the sort of trade I'd be looking to do this week. Try and get that 4th forward-line premium in. While we've got Selwood and Rockcliffe and these guys dropping in price, leave the back
I've
line.
already got Selwood.
You've already got Selwood. But we've got a lot of midfielders dropping in price, so next week onwards I'll be looking at midfielders. But I reckon grab another premium forward. You've got Buddy's cheap. You've got Bont still pretty cheap. Goddard's cheap. That's probably who I'll be getting. Bennell was another one, but he's obviously on the terp, so he won't be playing. But I reckon I'll be looking to get that 4th forward premium in if you started with 3 like most of us did.
Definitely.
So that's what I'll be doing.
Sounds good.
Cool.
And I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Okay. I'm not gay.
What's going to be your good and bad for Supercoach this week? What's your prediction for a good?
For a good score.
Oh, not good score, but who's going to do good?
Who's going to do
good? And who's going to go, who you think might put in a stinker?
God, that's a really good question. I think Malcheski will put in a stinker.
He's not playing. You've got to pick players that are playing.
Oh, from my team or just anyone?
Anyone. Any player.
I reckon Buddy's due for a big game, honestly. I think
they're playing Melbourne.
They're playing Melbourne. I've got the feeling Buddy's going to go 140. He's had 5 games. I think his lowest score is 80.
Pick a bag on the current All-Australian fullback in Tom McDonald.
I think he'll put Tom McDonald back in his place. I actually thought about that early in the week because I looked at Buddy's scores thinking I should get him in. He's gone like 90s,
that
low 100s.
That should be a warning to everyone that's looking at bringing Tom McDonald in.
He's got a big job this weekend. And even if he gets the second play, that's going to be Tippett. So not an easy job for Tommy McDonald.
Then the third's Reed. So
yeah, that's exactly right.
They're all pretty good in the air. So and what's your bad going to be?
Oh,
Dale
that's a good
Thomas?
question. Dale Thomas. No, don't tell her because my mum's going to want to trade him in. And just let me see if I can jog my memory on anybody. Oh, I think Rockcliffe might do well this week too. Actually,
I reckon. Do you want to just go 2 goods then?
2 goods.
Leave it bad.
No. I'm gonna pick Rory Sloane. He's gonna go poo again because I want to trade him in for nothing. Please.
No, I don't want that. Well, I'll go. My good. I reckon Sloane will absolutely destroy the Gold Coast. He's had a couple of very ordinary games, and he's been covered by Dangerfield. They've come off a showdown loss.
They'll be hungry.
And he said that he just didn't have the explosiveness and the quickness last week. So he's iced it up this week. He's been running from what I've read. So
it was only a corky too, not the calf he had issues with a few weeks ago.
I reckon that'll be the good and the bad. I'm going Dale Thomas. I have to. He's back in. I'm going to see him scoring under 30 or getting injured again.
All right, I could probably agree with that.
Either that or Brett Goods.
Or the whole Gold Coast Suns team.
Sorry. Yeah, or you'll see Harley Bennell. Who else was it? Mackenzie and Matera having a pot in the stands.
You know what they'll do? They'll get the ute, they'll put the couch in the back of the ute, back it up
Sit
to
on
the
the
ground
hill.
and have a few tennies on the hill.
Sitting on the couch with Danny Stanley.
I know. Oh, mate, Danny. Apparently they were having a few beers with Carmichael Hunt. So
that's probably
not a good idea.
They're probably doing other things with Carmichael Hunt too.
Like talking about rugby.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, that's been our preview show for this. So we're going to try and make it a regular thing. Come down to the office, have a few mint slices. Thank you, Arnott's. And
we'll invest in a heater too.
So we're going to get a heater because, good God, it's cold in here.
Anyway, well, good luck with your Supercoach team this week. If you need any help with any late trades, just tweet us at Sergeant Supercoach. Facebook messages Sergeant Supercoach. You can tweet me or Fitzy. I'm at Matty.Grace. You are
at John Fitzgerald.
Yep. John.Fitzgerald.
John.
Or is it John
one
Fitzgerald?
word.
Okay.
No H though.
No H. J-O-N.
You can Snapchat or you can
we
Instagram.
won't put our Snapchats on
or
there.
you can
because we might
LinkedIn.
end up with some bad things.
I don't mind. Wouldn't be any worse.
Or you can tweet at Vernie Valentos.
I know.
The Sarge himself. So good luck, and we'll see you on Monday.
Hooroo.